the illusion about money that cripples social progress. Despite other advancements of modern civilized society, most citizens and institutions continue to labor under significant illusion and superstition about the nature of modern money. This, despite the fact that money permeates, if not dominates, most aspects of life in modern society. Money has evolved from objects of actual value, precious metals, gems, livestock, to receipts or tokens for the same, to today's fiat currency, essentially a transferable coupon, inherently valueless, but one whose fungibility is guaranteed by a respected agency, and therefore may be exchanged for designated amounts of goods or services. A persistent confusion about money, one responsible for perhaps the majority of economic problems, is the perception that, as in days of old, the value of a monetary instrument is one and the same with the valued object it may represent. In other words, burn a $100 bill, and $100 of value is gone from the economy. Yet note that the actual cost of producing a $100 bill is about 12 cents per. The rest is simply an agreement, formally known as seigniorage. Prior to the unhooking of money from the gold standard, around the time of the Great Depression, money could be exchanged for precious metals, and therefore came to evoke the same emotional response as to the latter, think Pavlov's dogs. Because of this, we continue to treat money as a zero-sum affair, like gold or silver. The world contains only a fixed amount, therefore spending on any one thing absolutely must be balanced or paid for by a corresponding sacrifice elsewhere. In recent years, some interesting alternative perspectives and proposals have begun to emerge, such as the notion of a universal basic income (UBI) or modern money theory (MMT). MMT in particular challenges the above by proposing that, at the national level, the money supply can be expanded as needed, essentially without limit, so long as the new funds go toward productive activity as opposed to speculation or hoarding. In other words, the present-day conditions under which large sectors of the population struggle with or underemployment, economic insecurity, poverty, and lack of essential services, and under which important public and private projects go unfunded, are all conditions unnecessarily created by the artificial limits placed on the money supply by outdated economic, political, and institutional thinking. Yet many mainstream economists, even on the progressive side, are aghast at the MMT proposal, declaring that it would be wildly inflationary. Well, yes and no. Currently, the problem with any new issuance of money, even if used to fund real Main Street needs, is that it tends to quickly rise to the top and largely stay there, sucked up by the powerful, connected interests in banking, Wall Street, and major corporate and private interests. So long as these entities are able to absorb cash without limit, inequality will continue to grow and the cycle will repeat. The danger of inflation then derives from the fact that at some unpredictable moment, any of the above entities, in pursuing private interests, may release large amounts of cash into the economy, thus destabilizing the economic balance. A central problem. Whether considering MMT or conventional monetary policy, a major, under-acknowledged problem with modern money is that it serves two opposing functions. It is both a medium of exchange and a store of value. These uses are in conflict. The more that money is used for the one purpose, the less is available for the other. This is primarily why, despite being one of the wealthiest societies, with more money in circulation than ever before, large segments of the population continue to struggle with chronic recession, stagnant wages, job insecurity, and ever-growing levels of inequality. Money is a public utility. MMT begins to break through the illusion of money as a literal store of value by emphasizing the utility nature of money. Publicly supplied utilities such as roads, bridges, water and power, air traffic control, education, policing and courts, all support vastly more economic activity than the costs of providing these services. However, money is the one exception. Imagine for example the impact on commerce if the cost of building a highway had to be factored in each time a commercial vehicle traversed it. Or, considering money as a tool for commerce, imagine the nature of the construction industry if its primary purpose was not to build useful structures but simply to use that activity as an pretext to acquire ever more tools of the trade. Some will find this controversial, but consider that in a truly abundant, civilized society, there would be little need to accumulate and hoard vast wealth. When money circulates freely, it is more readily available for performing work, hiring employees, and making necessary purchases. Big-ticket projects would be, as they are today, collective public and private ventures. MMT and inflation. Perhaps the primary criticism of MMT is the possibility that it may lead to inflation. Again, this is only true to the extent that any newly issued funds would be siphoned and hoarded for value storage purposes rather than used to fund necessary productive activity. There are two basic solutions to this problem, one blunt and therefore challenging to implement, and one more natural and gentle. In a word, these are taxation and demurrage.